So we've seen some crazy AI stuff lately, but what if instead of using computer-based AI to control a robot, we use a real living human brain? Sounds crazy, right? Well, scientists in China have done exactly that, and it's kind of scary and kind of brilliant at the same time. They call it MetaBOC, short for MetaBot brain-on-chip. It's a research project developed by teams from Tianjin University and Southern University of Science and Technology, and it's been published in the journal Science Robotics. Let's break it down step by step. Step 1. Growing the brain. At the heart of this system is a tiny piece of what's called an organoid. It's basically a miniature version of a human brain grown from stem cells in a lab. Think of it like a brain in a dish. These organoids are about the size of a grain of rice and contain roughly 10,000 neurons. Now, these mini brains are not conscious or anything. They don't have pain, thoughts or feelings, but they do have the ability to receive input and learn simple tasks through repetition. Just like a real brain, the scientists create these organoids by taking stem cells and exposing them to certain chemicals that encourage them to develop into neurons and to form connections with each other. Just like in a real brain, these neurons start to work together to perform simple tasks. Step 2. Connecting it to electronics. Once the organoid is grown, it's placed on a microchip that contains thousands of tiny electrodes. This chip performs two important functions. First, it takes signals from outside the organoid, such as visual or auditory stimuli, and converts them into electrical signals that the organoid can understand. This is called encoding. Second, the chip also reads the electrical signals coming from the organoid. These signals are the result of the neurons firing in response to the stimuli. This process is called decoding. So basically, the chip acts like a translator between biology and electronics, allowing the robot to understand what the brain is trying to tell it. Step 3. Controlling a robot. Once the organoid and the chip are connected, the whole system is connected to an actual robot. When the robot moves or interacts with its environment, the chip receives information from the robot's sensors, like cameras and microphones. This information is then encoded and sent to the organoid. The organoid processes this information and sends back its own electrical signals. The chip then decodes these signals and turns them into movement commands for the robot, so the robot can move forward, grab something, avoid an obstacle, etc. Basically, the brain is controlling the robot in real time. But why is this different from just using normal AI to control the robot? With normal AI, you train a neural network on tons of data, like videos and images. The AI learns from the data and makes decisions based on what it has learned. With MetaBOC, the neural network is replaced by a real living brain. So instead of learning from data, the organoid learns from real interaction with the environment. It says kind of like the difference between reading about how to ride a bike and actually learning to ride a bike. One is theoretical, the other is practical, and you get better at it over time. Now, this is super cool, but it's also super challenging. We don't really understand how consciousness works, so it's hard to say whether the organoid will ever become self-aware or not. If it does, is it ethical to use it in a robot? Also, the organoid needs to be kept alive, so it needs nutrients, sterilization, temperature control, etc. Otherwise, it will die. And a biological system like this could get infected or contaminated, which would be bad. And there are no laws or regulations on using human tissue in machines yet. Despite all these challenges, this research is a huge step forward. It shows that it's possible to control a robot with a real living brain. And who knows, maybe one day we'll have robots that are powered by brains, not batteries. Or maybe one day we'll have chips that can decode our thoughts directly. No need for a robot, just pure telekinesis. But jokes aside, this technology could revolutionize the way we think about intelligence. Maybe it's not just about silicon and software, but also about biology and neurons. Who knows? Maybe the future is biotech and neurotech, not just AI. Or maybe it's all of the above. It's hard to say. But one thing is for sure, the more we learn about the brain, the more we learn about intelligence, the more interesting it gets.